Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dramatology Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be covering a drama that I'm currently watching titled For Eagle Brothers. This drama will have a total of 50 episodes, and as of the time I was recording, only about 20 of the episodes have aired. I have watched 19 of those episodes, right? So we're not right at the halfway point, but we're getting there. And I have to say, I am kind of taking with this drama. It has, renewed my love for longer episode dramas, family dramas, as I like to call them, because that's the category this is. So just to start, a quick synopsis about this drama. Basically, Ma Gwang-sok is a 45-year-old girl. She's single. She meets a guy, Ojang-soo, who is the head of this brewery. And they decide to get married because they like each other, right? Ojang-soo is clearly a great person, right? And so she marries into this family, and that comes with four of his brothers. And Ojang-soo has really been the one to take care of them and, raise them till they went out in society. So they have a lot of respect for their brother, and they want him to have a happy marriage because he's kind of a lot older and he's never really had anyone, right? So they are basically good brothers, right? Unfortunately, Ojang-soo dies about 10 days into the marriage, right? And they didn't register their marriage because in Korea, that's the thing. You have to register your marriage. Even if you have a ceremonial wedding, it doesn't count in the eyes of the law. So they failed to do that before he died, right? But Ma Gwang-suk is such a person that true and true, it makes sense that she's the one that married Ojang-soo, because when he dies and they realize that the brewery is gonna have to declare bankruptcy and be sold, she's the one that decides to take it over. She's the one that decides that no, this is something Ojang-soo spent his whole life working on. It's not gonna go down just like this, right? The other brothers obviously can't take care of it because they are also just struggling with a lot of things, right? So she decides to use her, funds, her mom's inheritance, I think, a lot of things, right, just to pull money to take this over. And she does, right, and kind of becomes this member of their family just by sheer might that she has and just by the genuine goodness in her heart, right? Thankfully, her brother-in-laws are all good people, as I said, and so it's almost like a puzzle fit, right, in this family, right? She joined their family, but really she kind of saved them, and she became kind of that, I don't want to say motherly figure because they're all grown adults, and they're not young adults either. They're one or two of them have been married, one of them has a kid, right? So it's almost just like she became like a sister to them, right? And they accepted her really quickly because she's a lovely person and she has a good heart. Even our mom that's in this drama, that is technically kind of a gold digger, kind of a money hungry lady, even her, she's still kind of a good person, right? So it really just fits, and really I guess it's about them navigating life together and her kind of saving them and just being there for them, right, in a way that I think they need that, right? And also she needs that to keep going because she does miss her husband, right? And in the midst of this, she also meets Han Dong-sok, who is the CEO of LX Hotel, right? So it's a conglomerate and he's a rich guy and everything. So I assume that's the person that's going to be a love interest in this, right? He lost his wife 15 years ago. He has a grown daughter and son, right? And so they are kind of just grown-ups, and they're going to have to navigate all that, right, when they decide to be together, because you expect that they will fall in love at some point, right? So that's basically what the story is about. It's a really good drama. It's a feel-good drama, and there's not a lot of conflict, which is something that I appreciate, right? This is a feature of family drama that there's really never a terrible person, really, right? Not one that is too overly evil, right? And just to talk more about that, for those who don't know, there are two forms of long dramas, right? So there are dramas that are about 50 episodes long, and then there are dramas that are 120, 130 episode long, right? Basically, dramas that enter about 100 episodes, right? Those are the two types of long form dramas, right? Those daily dramas, as they call it in Korea, right? The ones that are usually 50 episodes are usually family dramas. They are the ones where it's really following a family and how members of the family live their life. And generally people are not so terrible in that drama. People act like people, even, I would say, which is kind of different from even shorter dramas like the regular 16 episodes, 12 episode dramas. in that like you really see the human aspect, you see the poverty, you see the conflict that they have between each other. And I would say that the Korean culture, right, how Koreans are more is more reflected in this like 50 episode ones, because you see a lot of those features, right? It's still over exaggerated, of course, but generally, right, that is still there and visible, right? And so I like it because, like I said, the characters are not too terrible, right? If there's a villain, it's not a villain that's a villain just to be a villain. It's a villain that like there's a reasoning behind why they're a villain. For example, if there's a disapproving mom, right? Usually there's a reason behind why she's disapproving. Usually it's just because like she's rich and the person that her son wants to marry is not, right? And she doesn't go out of her way to be too much of an evil person. And usually at the end of it, like she acquiesces, right? So that's kind of how this one is, right? There's never anyone that's like too terrible of a person, right? Yeah, there are people that are selfish, but usually people can change. There's a lot of character development that goes on in the short ones, right? So that's the 50 episode ones. Now the ones that are like 100 plus, that are 120, that's the one that I actually consider makjang. And for those who don't know what makjang means, I also really don't know what it means, like in the bare form of what that means, right, in Korea, but I just assume it's basically melodrama, right? That's the drama where for those who are watching enough dramas, there's a really popular meme in Korean dramas that features this woman slapping some guy with kimchi. Right, so that's like the, just to give you a idea of kind of how out of pocket things can get with these long ones, right? So the Mark Jank ones, the 120 episode ones, they're the ones where you actually have cartoonish villains, right, where the villain is just a villain to be a villain. You have a lot of characters where they're not there for anything but to be a pain in the ass of the main characters, or to prevent the main character from knowing that they are the child of like the chairman or something. Or there's that female character that hates the female lead so much that she would jeopardize anything and everyone just to like get back at the female lead, and you don't know why. There's no reasoning to why she does that. She just is that terrible of a person, right? And they never really have character development till the last episode when they are like in a home or something, because like they've lost a leg because they tried to, like, I don't know, push the female lead off a building, just like out of pocket like stuff, right? So those ones are hard to watch for me. Those ones have no real basis for why they are the way they are. I think it's just to keep people watching, and they do get like a high rating, but honestly there's no real like meat to the story, right? I'm only watching just to hopefully see a scene where the leads get revenge, but it's usually at the last few episodes and it's never as satisfying. So you always wonder what you wasted your whole like 2-3 months for watching this drama, right? So that's the other form of it, right? And so those are really the two types of long form, right? So this one falls under, I would say, the first type, where it's just like a feel goodish drama. It's really a slice of life and you're watching these people just live life through the day, right? Of course there will still be conflict, but still that's generally it. So I am a huge fan of these kinds of like the short out ones, because again I just like the fact that characters are not that terrible of people, right? And so in this case, right, you have a bunch of characters. You have the brothers, you have the female lead, you have Han Dong-seok and his family, all these people that are all relating in different ways, right? And that's another feature, like people kind of connect in different ways, right? So for example, you can obviously predict how this drama will end for anybody that watches enough of this. And so I'm sorry I'm going to spoil this, but I have to, because again this is just easy to see, right? Because there's never really a surprise in this. We know that Ma Kwang-suk, right, the sister-in-law, our female lead, is going to marry Han Dong-seok, right? That is just clear, right? She's going to marry that chairman, right? He's already feeling things for her already, and we just know that's coming, right? So that's the first one, right? Now, the funny thing is that Han Dong-seok's daughter, right, also has feelings for one of the brothers, right, who happens to also be, and this is my guess, this is my theory, the son of the wife of the owner of the rival brewery that wants to basically buy Eagle Brewery, right? So it's a very interesting twist, and that's just what I like about this. Like different people connect, and I just like when the reviews happen and like, oh, you are related to this person, and everybody's shocked, and then this person is related to this person, and this person is dating this person, and everybody's shocked again, and people trying to keep their own secret from getting out. Because I can tell you for a fact that the enemy brewery, right? The wife is the mother of one of the brother-in-laws, right? That woman is going to do whatever it takes to make sure her secret does not get out, to make sure that no one knows that that brother-in-law is actually her son, right? It's also funny too because that woman has a daughter that's also going to probably marry the single father brother-in-law as well, right? So it's all these different people and different connections, right? And I just love everything, right? I would say the only person is like, I would say, storyline I'm not really following, that I don't really care about, is the dancer like brother-in-law and his stalker like love interest. I'm not interested in him. He's kind of childish, sort of, even though he's also a good person, but he just does not resonate with me, so I've not been following his story that much. But the other ones are just so interesting, and they all have like very like deep story to them, right? And it's just funny seeing all these like girls fall in love with these brothers. Right, but I get it, they are really really good people, right? And I understand. I will say that Magwang Suk's relationship with the chairman is one that, I mean, the chairman is problematic, like the way I feel like male leads in all these dramas are problematic, because like he clearly likes the female lead, right? But he's also very insulting, and he's very like, he's one of those like just chauvinistic characters that we see in like old like Korean dramas. But it works for daily dramas, right? It works given also the fact that he's the chairman of like a huge company. But you would think he would have more like critical thinking skills to see that like what everyone tells him is not true, but he believes just about anything anyone says about the female lead, and I don't really like that. But again, I get it, he's falling in love, it's the whole thing, and I have no choice but to watch it, but still it just kind of pisses me off just a bit, right? But yeah, I would say that my favorite couple in this whole thing is the youngest one, right? So the one where he saves her from a stalker, right? Han Dong Sok's daughter and that military guy. That is my favorite one. That is the one where I am like really, I'm locked in. And then followed by that is the single father brother-in-law. He is also like, I don't know how that's gonna go, because like he's obviously not there yet. He's not even interested in her in any way, right? He's a student assistant, right? That is the daughter of that enemy brewery, right? So I I wonder how that's gonna play out. I really wonder. But yeah, I look forward to it. It should be interesting. And yeah, this is just a feel good drama. It's a slice of life drama, and it's keeping me going. I'm enjoying it very very much. But yeah, that's really all I have for this episode. One correction I will make is that this is actually technically a weekend drama, so it only airs on weekends. I don't know why I thought it aired every day, because it felt like he aired every day, but I guess not. I've just like been binge watching, so I thought I aired every day, but it doesn't actually air every day. It airs only on weekends, right? So it's not a daily drama, it's a weekend drama, right? And maybe that's the difference between this kind of drama, the 50 episode one, and those like 120 episodes one. I think those 120 episodes ones are like daily dramas, right? So they have to pack all the nonsense inside there. As opposed to this one. So yeah, I am really enjoying this, and I look forward to my episodes every day. So yeah, that's really all for this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys again next week. Have a lovely one. Bye.